Bardown Analytics has developed the first and only interactive hockey stats platform, providing fans with dashboard applications to slice and dice statistics for every player, goalie, and franchise that have played in the National Hockey League. Signing up for access to Bardown's dashboards is available at bardownanalytics.com. First-time customers will also receive a free 2-week trial. Once you've created a Bardown profile and signed up for a membership, you can log into the Bardown Analytics application. After logging in, you'll be directed to the landing page, where you can launch any one of the 7 Bardown dashboards. In this video, we'll take a deep dive into the dashboards that focus on forwards and defensemen. We'll start with the player dashboard. After launching the dashboard, you'll see that the default selection is Alex Ovechkin. Each time you select a different player, the dashboard will let you know when it is updated. Including the player filter, there are 8 filters on this dashboard. Everything below the filters change based on the selections you make. Each filter, except for the player filter, is a multi-select. For the filters with selection options, you can type to find the value you're looking for, instead of scrolling through the entire list. If at any time you want to clear the filters, hit the Clear All Selections button, located at the top of the page. We'll spend more time seeing these filters in action, but for now let's dive into the information in the dashboard itself, starting with the Player Career Summary section. The Player Career Rankings is depicted using a radar or spider chart. This chart is meant to represent where a player ranks all time compared to their peers in pre-selected categories. The farther out the shape is in that category, the higher that player is ranked in that category. For example, if I hover over the data point under goals, the chart shows me that Ovi has scored 780 regular season goals, which leaves him ranked 3rd all time. On the top left of the chart, you can toggle back and forth between regular season and playoffs to see how players rank in each. The player info section is pretty self-explanatory, showing all the details about the selected player. The player career awards section is meant to show the count of awards the player has won over their career, broken up by all the different awards an individual player can win. For more detail, you can hover over the number under each award to see the team and the year the player won the award with. Looking at Ovechkin's currently won Stanley Cup, the dashboard shows me it was won with the Washington Capitals in 2018. The player career stats table is the only chart in this section that is affected by the top level filters. The table here is also pretty self-explanatory, but if you're new to the sport of hockey and are unsure of what these acronyms stand for, there's a glossary at the bottom of the dashboard for reference. Next up is the metric deep dive section. The purpose of this section is to take a deep dive into a specific statistic for that player. This section is controlled by the metric filter, which defaults to goals upon launching the dashboard. The first chart in this section is the metric timeline, which shows the player's total for the selected metric over the seasons they've played in the league. You'll notice that some of these goal totals look high for Ovechkin, like 64 goals in 2017. This is because we're looking at both regular season and playoff goals. To focus on one or the other, simply use the game type filter at the top of the dashboard. The next chart is the metric 4 tree map. Ovechkin has only ever played for the Capitals, which is why you only see one shape here. If I hover over it, it shows me the total number of goals he has scored with the Capitals and his average per game. Now if I click this square, I can see the breakout of all the goals he has scored, but now by coach. The larger the shape represents a larger goal total, whereas the shapes that have a hotter color indicate a higher goal per game average. So in this case, Ovechkin scored the most goals playing under Bruce Boudreau and had the highest goal per game average under Todd Reirden and had the worst average under Dale Hunter. To go back to the top level view, click the outer shape of the chart. The next visual is the exact same information, only instead of looking at teams and coaches a player has played for, it focuses on the opponents. The concept here is the same, where we can see Ovi has scored the most goals in his career against Tampa Bay, while his highest goals per game average is against the Minnesota Wild. Clicking into each square shows the results by each coach he has played against for each of these teams. You can use the radio button above the first chart to toggle the hierarchy back and forth. Now you can see Ovi has scored the most goals against John Tortorella. The final chart in this section is the metric geomap, which shows the exact location of each of Ovi's goals. The size of the bubble indicates the number of goals scored in that location. Obviously, he scored the majority of his goals in DC. The metric section is available for 15 player statistics that you can change between using the metric dropdown. Here's the same information for Ovechkin looking at overtime goals. Any stats that are statistical averages, such as shot percentage, are depicted as scatter charts rather than tree maps. The detailed stats section on the dashboard is a combination of miscellaneous stats packaged into one area. The first chart in the group is the shot georank. This shot focuses on goals scored for the selected player. Each circle in this chart represents a goal that Ovechkin has scored since 2013. Hovering over a single circle will show you all the information about that goal. Using the shot type filter above the chart, you could focus on the goals that Ovechkin has scored by a specific shot type, for example, slap shots. Similar to the charts above, you can zoom in on a specific region and then zoom out by double-clicking. The donut chart to the right of the rank map shows the percentage breakdown of location for each of the goals. This shows that since 2013, Ovechkin has scored 47% of his goals from the left circle. This chart also updates in unison with the shot type filter. If I change the shot type to backhand, the donut chart will drastically change to show the slot as the primary scoring location. The rest of this section is made up of tables showing various stats, including shootouts, penalty shots, face-offs, and goals and shooting percentage by shot type. The final table on the dashboard is a traditional look at stats by season. The table is sortable by each statistic, meaning you can easily see Ovechkin's best and worst seasons in each category. Now that we've walked through each component in the dashboard, let's go back to the filters. These filters alter every visualization in the dashboard, meaning you can come up with endless scenarios to see Ovechkin's stats by. As an example, let's take a look at Ovi's regular season performance for the past 3 seasons, playing against the Penguins, Flyers, and Bruins. Scrolling down, you can see the entire dashboard has changed to focus on the data we have queried above. Like I mentioned before, you can use the Clear All Selections button to reset these filters. Next, we'll look at the player matchup dashboard. To navigate to this dashboard, use the link at the top of the page. This dashboard allows users to compare player stats side by side, ideal for making decisions on your fantasy hockey team. The default selections here are Alex Ovechkin and Sidney Crosby. To save space, I've abbreviated regular season and playoffs with R and P. This dashboard provides 4 stats to use for each player: career stats for selected oppositions, season stats, and season stats for selected oppositions. If I change the opposition filter under Ovechkin to the Rangers, 2 of the 4 tables for Ovi will change. In the career section, I can now see how Ovechkin has performed across his career and how he has performed only against the Rangers in his career. I can see the same information broken out by season in the 2 charts below. I can add as many teams as I want to this filter. Let's add the Hurricanes. The second chart in each of these sections updates based on the opponents chosen, while the other filters for each player control all 4 charts. If I change the home-away filter to home, now I can see Ovechkin's career stats at home and his career stats against the Rangers and Hurricanes. The matchup dashboard is meant to be a simple comparison tool, whereas the player dashboard has all the details for a player and their stats. And that's a wrap for the player dashboards, brought to you by Bardown Analytics. Bardown has a lot more going on than just this dashboard. Check out all our other dashboards via our YouTube channel, or sign up for a membership to explore each dashboard for free for 2 weeks.